What it do, and welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Wind-Down, your favorite chat show hosted by yours truly, Jer Bear, aka Jeremiah Neal, aka the Pop Culture Maven, aka Sugar Spice. People always ask me if I was ever going to pick my Spice Girl name, if I was ever going to be like a sixth member of the Spice Girls, what name would I choose? And I finally settled on Sugar. I feel like Sugar Spice would be so cute. I think it's very me. It's very me coded. I love a sweet treat. You know, I love a little lemonade or a fruity cocktail, something light and refreshing. It gotta have a little tang, okay? It gotta have a little lime, a little grapefruit. But overall, I love things on the sweet side. So it's giving balance. I am so crazy, y'all. But the whole reason why I even brought that up is because Spice Girls taught us, y'all, never give up on the good times, honey. And we done rolled up into August and the summer is almost over. They already just said that August, we're going to get the most reduced time at night when it comes to sunsets. And I'm like, no, because I love me a nice walk, y'all, a nice evening walk when it's cooling down. You get to see the sun go down, the nice glow in the distance. Golden time of day. But that's literally like my favorite time of all time. So seeing a season come to an end can make your girl just snap into the present real quick. Okay. Anywho, how y'all feeling? What it do? What it do? I've been personally just trying to be in my flow. Like whatever that means with life, just trying to wake up and feel good and monitor when I don't feel good and just get back to feeling good, girl. Okay. Let it flow like Toni Braxton. Also been heavily into this Whoopi Goldberg quote. She just did an interview with my girl Kiki Palmer. Oh my gosh, I love me some Kiki. Whoopi said, you only got two choices in life, girl. You can either be who you are or follow other people. And I just did a TikTok about Britney Spears circus. There's only two types of people in the world, but it's really true, y'all. Sometimes it's okay to just be the beatnik, the one that just takes the path less taken. I know that sounds so cliche. I never liked that growing up when people used to say that kind of stuff too, but maybe it's because deep down inside I kind of resonated with that path. Growing up, I would always sit there and wonder and ponder, why am I so different from others? Why do I just stick out from the crowd? Like, why is just everything so different for me? And now I'm realizing I wouldn't have it any other way, girl. It feels revolutionary to be able to be about self, think about self in a non-selfish way, because everybody know us Aquarius, we the biggest humanitarians on the planet. But in a sense of just being able to stand on your own 2 feet, that is a really great feat that a lot of people don't get to accomplish. A lot of folks are dependent on one another. And again, I'm not saying that we can't have no community, girl, because y'all know I love some community, but I'm just saying it is totally okay to be proud of who you are, what you stand for, my beliefs, how far I've come, how far my voice can actually reach. Like, I've been able to interact with some of my childhood idols, y'all, this whole year. If someone could have just like time traveled me or just told little Jared, little do you know, these idols on your wall you're going to be in conversation with. And all you would have to do is just speak up, just speak your mind in real time and stay consistent with it. I do think my life would have turned out a little bit different, but shoot, better late than never. I'm so grateful to now be like fully aware and fully immersed into who Jared Bear is. And that feels so good. And I hope that y'all listening feel inspired to really go down a path of discovery. And if you've already clocked that for yourself, oh, that's brilliant. I don't want to say I'm jealous or envious, but dang, like I really wish I was so sure of self as much as I am right now in the past. But we here now and we ready. And we got what, 30 something episodes, 38? Y'all, this is my longest running series ever. Come on. When it comes to celebrities, when their goal is to have like mass appeal over the world, it can be a very tricky industry, a very layered way of living, a very nuanced, multi-variable experience, okay? Because you just have all of these elements. It's almost like bets on your life or bets on your success, which is just a very odd way to live. Every single day, you're waking up with a bunch of darts, like a millimeter close to your face or your body, and with one wrong move, you're dead, girl. I hate to say it that way, but maybe I should bleep that out. But it's true, y'all. Just as fast as a tower can go up, it's just as fast as it can fall down. Like Babylon. Babylon! Like Lady Gaga featuring Brie Runway. I love that remix. Nevertheless, nowadays, life in the public spotlight is times 100 than what it used to be like a century ago. I don't know how Marilyn Monroe, all them people would have lived now in the day of social media, girl. Not to say that she should have kicked the bucket earlier, but I don't think she would have even made it halfway through the career, because it is true scrutiny, especially for women. I feel like women got it real bad online. But the way I see it, the way I be seeing these comments every single day, I completely understand why some of these celebrities, influencers, people that have platforms be crashing out, okay? Because in this world, you are damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Anyone can come onto the internet, say what they want to say, and because the general public likes the way they say it, they like the comedic timing, they like the audaciousness, it'll run as truth to the mass. And so so for me, I want to be very cautious on how I approach, particular topics. And I want to remain fair. I want to remain observant. But most of all, I want to remain truthful, because when it comes to dissecting, it has become like second nature for people to just be mean. And I don't want people to equate my words for that. But I just want us to course correct and get back to a path. Y'all know I'm always talking about the 90s and how it was Dreamville, but it really was. It was a paradise during that time. And I feel like with folks like me speaking out, we can kind of get back there just a little bit. We can kind of pivot and just like take the cruise ship back on path. Okay, girl? So it's time to get into Miss Starbucks, aka Miss Ariana Grande, girl. Now, I will note that we will be talking about some topics that might be a little touchy for some folks. So if y'all not in the mood to be hearing about eating disorders, pain or suffering or loss or death, this might not be the episode for you, okay? But I do hope that you do continue to listen, because I be bringing out the best of it, okay? I be thinking hard. I try my best to think all around or holistically about these summations. Before we hop into the nitty gritty, y'all, I do want to praise and show some support to Florida's finest, first of all. You know how I always love how anybody that rep Florida, we got to root for them. But anywho, if y'all been kind of like lost out in the loop, first of all, Ariana Grande is on tour and she just released a new album. I love her current marketing strategy, girl. She is showing us the new method of promotion, honey. You release an album, don't promote it, then come back, go on tour for that album, and then release a new album while you're on tour so that you can promote both. Cha-ching, girl. I love it, honey. I love this new strategy. You are forcing people to get into the whole catalog, and I think that is something so beautiful and brilliant that we will see people copycat. And so even throughout her pain, honey, she is still coming with the strategy. But she's currently been in the headlines this summer due to her appearance, okay? First, people were noticing this at the first dates of the Eternal Sunshine Tour. People were saying, oh, well, she is maturing. She's getting to her 30s. Like, people's bodies just do change when you naturally get older, which is very true. And we also live in a society where it has been especially really conditioned, especially since COVID, that is like very misogynistic to be talking about women's bodies in the first place, so we shouldn't bring it up. But after weeks and weeks go by, there have been newer and newer clips of Ari surfacing online, in addition to her promotional clips for like the music video for Pedal, and just other stuff that we've just been seeing on the telly and online that has just been really getting people a little concerned, especially the Arianators, pop music fans, the Popholics, culture observers, because this made it into like Gen X and the baby boomers entertainment tonight segments. Like, it's really transcended into the big hot topic of conversation for everyone. And I feel like this is very interesting because in general, I do like to abide by the rule of trying not to speak on people's appearances. We already saw this with Chadwick Boseman, and that really ate everybody up when homie decided to fly high. And just in general, living in my 30s, I understand how the body can fluctuate like crazy. Like, health can be such a trying factor in anybody's life, no matter if you are the fattest person in the room or someone that struggles with being skinny or trying to gain weight or just maintaining weight, you know what I mean? So everybody got their own little thing. So I just try to just mind my own business. However, with this particular topic and how it has taken the world by storm, the Maven had to hop on and give my 2 cents with a solution, girl, because this is what we need, a solution on how we move forward from this weird ass elephant in the room, how we can do it in a mindful way, okay? And have hopeful outcomes. I'm giving you Obamacare just because, like I mentioned, all of these variables that I mentioned before are still very active and in motion. So us being so extreme or too extreme, being hyper aware or hyper fixated or hyper focused on something can sometimes sway a outcome or a decision that none of us want, if y'all can catch my drift. Robin Williams, okay, honey? We don't want that. So I think it's important for us to just sit down and analyze where she is coming from, and also what can we do to ensure that we just have a healthy outcome for everybody, the supporters and Ari, Also, before we hop into things, has anyone even listened to the Pedal album in full yet? What is your favorite track? For me, this whole album is giving like Sweetener 2.0 with a hint of Dangerous Woman, which is good in my opinion, because I feel like it leans more into her talent and what she wants to put out there as Ariana and not Victoria Monet 2.0. I will say some of the tracks can get a bit repetitive, or maybe it's like her melodic style can be a bit repetitive, but that might mean it just is more of like one of those albums that is a grower once you listen to it a little bit more. So she might be not more summer anthem-y. We're giving that crown to Zara Larsson, and it might be giving more fall winter vibes vibes like Ray. All right, y'all. Now we got to get into this tea because there's been a lot happening online for the last, I would say, 2 months, honestly. People have been doing their speculations and doing their little videos and just discussing why a lot of this can be triggering for some people, especially those that are suffering from EDs. A lot of people are also speculating that a lot of what we're seeing, this frail body, the lack of energy, has been stimulated from her love life. So people are saying that it's from the divorce from her ex-husband. People are saying that it's from her breakup from Ethan. Some people are saying that she misses Mac. For me, I don't think that anything that we're seeing has to do anything with romantic relationships. I think it has to do with more of like her familiar relationships, particularly probably her mom. And I think it's like this little girl and her wanting a version of herself to be seen by someone, but to an extreme level. Maybe to prove a point, to be like, see, you should have listened to me. I told you something's going wrong, or I told you I could always get there. You never thought I could be so thin. Now look at me. And now the whole damn world gonna see how far we've gone off track or how far we've gone off course. I know that sounds twisted. I know that sounds kind of sick in the head, but with a mental disorder, with the eating disorder, with things like this, you're not thinking as a normal, rational person. You're thinking in a different mindset, you know? And again, to support my evidence of it not being something like sexual or with her relationships, I don't think that people with eating disorders are even looking at their body, the vessel, as or through sexual lenses, the same way that a typical observer is looking at a body. There's such a disconnect with their mental, their spirit, the body, the vessel, fuel, feeling yourself. Like there's just so many variables and lessons going on that I feel like sex and that kind of stuff is at the back of their brains, at least. We talk about people being observant and kind of getting triggered by this. I will be one of those people to get a little personal, okay? But as someone who has suffered from an eating disorder before, actually too, honey, I do feel her pain and I just want to give her a big hug and I want her to know that it's okay and she ain't the only damn one. But I can attest to that at the very root of all of this is just a little self within begging for a loved one or someone that has just instilled a negative root into her brain. They're begging for that person to take note of the current reality, to say, hey, can you see the result of this? Can you see how I feel? Even if it's not my emotion, can you see how the outcome of this very vessel? I know you can because you have eyes, you know what I mean? You can't feel my emotion or feel my hurt, but you're going to see the outcome of it in physicality. And that is a crazy way to communicate things in a very exaggerated and extreme way, but it is what it is, y'all. We cannot tell these people how to do things. And the fact is, there are more people suffering from EDs than we think. I think it's roughly 9% of Americans, which is like 39 million people, okay? That's just as many people suffering from EDs as there are many queer people walking around, you know what I mean? It's not queerness versus eating disorders, but with queerness, there's a advocacy, a allegiance to come out and find your tribe. But with the eating disorder, girl, I feel like this is one of the most hidden and silent suffering type of vibes that someone could possibly experience on this planet, which puts people that have them, including Ariana, into a very challenging light, especially if you're one of the biggest pop stars, the biggest global superstars in the world, girl, okay? I don't think it's as simple as this, okay, y'all, I'm just gonna check into rehab and all will be well. I think it's way bigger than that, honey. When it comes to Ariana, I could see if she was like on her down era, not promoting no music, just minding her business, living her life. And y'all remember like the 2005 era where people would just be minding their business and then the paparazzi would just come out of nowhere and then be all up in your business. I feel like that's super violating of her privacy. You know what I mean? If she was suffering through something like that and then we was all up in there, we don't need to be doing that. But I don't think that's what this current situation is. That's not the case. What's happening currently is with the release of her new projects comes promotion. She promised the Eternal Sunshine Tour after the Wicked promotion. She currently put a damn petal flower on TikTok. So then every single time you try to put a comment, her face pops up. So for someone that wanted to keep things on the low or keep it super private, this is definitely not that era for her, which is why I feel like some of these choices are very nuanced and also very intentional. Not to mention that crazy ass thumbnail that my homegirl used for the Petal music video. Like there's a lot of blooming eeriness that I'm picking up on, and it's giving Carrie, honey. It's giving me psychological thriller murder vibes. It's giving me American Horror Story. And I know people are allowed to be twisted and art can be a little bit like polarizing and punchy. I get that. But also, people are also allowed to be skeptical or a little bit worrisome about the overall outcome, because that's what I'm thinking about at the end of all of this. So now now what, honey? We're going to get to that. But like, what are we going to do from this? Everybody being so aware and being like, oh, this is what it is. But what now? We have been observing Ariana in the spotlight since 2013 with her own solo music career and since 2010 with her television career. So that's almost like 2 decades worth of observation as fans or consumers. I think it's okay for folks to be able to express their concern based off of what they are seeing. And they have that very right, considering just how much time we have consumed the likeness of this person and then watched them transform before our very eyes. Now, here's where it gets tricky, because what is the fine line? What is the PC line to ensure that we're being respectful, yet we're still discussing things quick enough to be proactive? I'm still trying to figure that out for myself. I feel like that it's a case-by-case experience, maybe, but we just can't expect people to sit there and be quiet over something that is so blatantly obvious in front of our faces, and also very awkward given that this person, again, is a big global superstar. Like, she is a cultural influencer, whether she wants to be or not. You know what I mean? There are little girls that have her posters on their wall that can't wait to be Glinda for Halloween. She done swept in a whole new generation of fans. And then this is what we're broadcasting. Not to forget that for the last 3 years, we just seen her do that whole press run for Wicked. You know what I mean? And there were remnants of what we're seeing right now during that. And it was kind of 50-50. Some people were getting called out for talking about it. People were like saying, chill, we don't need to be discussing that. Some people were being like, no, my homegirl is off. I've been rocking with her since the very beginning and I know something is different. But what I want to deduce from this is that I do feel like this is not a certain case of we're just piggybacking on misogyny and trying to like clown and dog out women. I think this is a very special case where we're discussing specifically Ariana Grande. You know what I mean? How one person's issue is being mirrored over to millions of young women and honestly men as well, because eating disorders are not gender only, you know? With the current state of things, the way I see it is we got 2 sides of the coin. We got the arrow focusing, pointing on Ariana and her well-being, and then we got another arrow focusing on Ariana and her duty to the public. And people be like, what? Her duty to the public? She is just a singer girl. She is just an actress girl. Yes, she is a pop star. And as someone that influences thousands and millions of young people around the world on a daily, I definitely feel that Ariana Grande should be held accountable for what she is portraying out there to the world with her brand, just like every other person that chooses that as their career path. Absolutely, yes, parents do have the responsibility for sitting their children down and explaining certain aspects, certain outcomes, certain observations that we are witnessing on the daily. But that does not deduce, that doesn't take away from her duty that just because she's going through something, we can't observe it out loud. Or the fact that we're explaining these things to children as a reaction to someone like her choosing a very severe way to express themselves in the public eye, but also very silent with it as well, using these riddles and like these context clues to address the weird elephant in the room. I think that's beating around the bush, and that gets us nowhere as a society, you know? Granted, she really don't owe us nothing. She really does not need to come out publicly and talk about these things. But at the same time, especially where we are in this world, I feel like the best solution would be her coming out and being honest and truthful with everyone. That would inspire the thousands and millions of young girls who are potentially also suffering from the same vibes to be able to come to some realization that they can get help through their challenges. Because don't even get it twisted. Everybody knows how much their idols mean to them. And it's not even only in the pop realm, because people always love to pick on fangirls and stuff like that. Look at how men treat athletes. If this situation was happening to LeBron and Wade and everybody favorites, these men would also be going through the gutter or also be challenging what they're visually looking at or also express their concern. These celebrities have a lot more influence on our day-to-day and our overall outlook on life, way more than we think. So yes, I do very firmly stand on that we have a right as observers to declare if something is uncomfortable to witness and look at, okay? Speaking of speaking up and speaking out on your issues and staying hidden, in this day and age, we're also so used to people sitting down with their damn doctors on public television, on reality shows like Teen Mom and stuff like that on camera. So, you know, I'm not taking that away from my option. I think it would be super healthy if Ariana did a documentary exposing this and put this on Netflix. Popholics. I think that would be so healing for this world if she was able to come out on top, even if she wasn't, girl, because it's always an ongoing battle. People relapse and stuff all the time. It's her being vulnerable enough to release that side of her. I think that's the light of the situation. That's the silver lining that could put the healing in the world. Heal the world. Come on, MJ. But again, addressing it would pop that damn elephant balloon that's over here just taking all the air and space up in the room that we're all standing in. And while this damn balloon is expanding, y'all, everybody's sitting there contemplating, oh, do we step over the line? Do we step over the boundaries? What are the ways that we can communicate and ensure that we have that candor? You know, my favorite word. We don't want to offend anybody. No, no, no. But with extremes like this, y'all, it is really important that we ensure that this does not become a new normal for young people, okay? Or even older people, anyone that is observing. We cannot just be like, okay, yeah, this is okay. It's the same way when 13 Reasons Why was a big thing. I feel like they were echoing or encouraging people to take their own lives in bathtubs. A little bit of the sentiment, it was like romanticizing that in a way, in a form of entertainment, which is exactly what I feel like Ariana is doing with her current release. And I don't like that, you know what I mean? And then if we really want to go there and clock it, we always want to have this thin line of being calm, cool, and collected and very careful and delicate on how we discuss EDs when it comes to skinny people. But the public in general has no problem coming for anyone that is large, obese, or fat, okay? The switch up can be so real. Society can't always have all the toughest love in the comments and IRL for people that are fat. So now why all of a sudden is there a switch up for someone that is a little too skinny? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we all need to go bombard her and tell her that she's a terrible skinny person and stuff like that. Like, don't use the same aggression. But what I'm saying is, if you can see it from that lens of fatness, you can also apply that same rage and wanting a solution for the skinnier people. It's not just one way. I'm just saying it got to be a holistic scope. If people are going to be that audacious as a society to pick apart people, y'all got to do it for the whole scale of people. We can't be all calm and kind to one sect and then be the nastiest to other people when everybody's suffering at the end of the day, you know, in the long run. Now, the way I'm seeing things, it's kind of obvious based off of what we're seeing and the reaction from her team, from her. She's been speaking out about this at her concerts recently. I definitely feel like our girl is going to seek help during her recently announced time away. And I think that's a big part of this acceptance that there is a problem and taking ownership and accountability. If you have certain privileges to obtain help, you should get it. However, I do feel like that's hard, especially as a celebrity, because you get like these special passes in life. You have like autonomy over everything times 10. You know what I mean? Plus, you want to be a human being. Who wants to be stripped away of their rights of being told like you can't think this way, or we suggest that this is the path you take in order to become healthy again, when in your mind that you feel like everything is normal? That feels very invasive to like human rights. And that's why a lot of people don't be seeking help in the first place, because they don't want to give that up. But I feel like my girl is going to be coming to her senses very soon that this is a path. If we want everlasting Ariana, if we want Ariana to be here in our 2050s, y'all, it starts now. This is what I'm hoping. This is what I'm crossing my fingers for, because I have been seeing some strange strange things online, especially when it came to her PR team. I think it was called Ariana Grande Press. They was over there talking about they were going to block anybody that was coming on to her pages talking anything negative or sending any hate speech or anything like that. And I feel like they got to be careful. They got to tread lightly for trying to frame this whole situation as the world coming with rage or hate towards Ariana. Having concern for someone and evoking hate speech online are very separate vibes. I feel if anything, what they need to be doing is getting the people that were all up in her court for the last 2 or 3 years to be helping not persuade public opinion, but just put the light about Ariana back out there into the world. Like, why are the PR teams not getting Frankie, Cynthia, Jonathan Bailey? You know what I mean? Like, get these people out here. And y'all remember when Ariana did her positions breakdown and she was showing us how she built up these songs in the studio? This is the behind the scenes PR that would help get people, give them a reminder of why we fell in love with this girl and why she's so freaking talented. And once all of this passes, how we can focus on all that amazing light. But first we got to address the need for help. So you can't go in there and then tell people, oh, we're going to block y'all all social media accounts for their suggestions. Now, granted, I know there can be like a lot of bots and stuff like that that can be egging on a certain agenda and or ambiance that is not necessarily healthy or conducive for a fun environment online, but that is only a reaction to the principal problem, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So that starts with our girl going ahead and getting the help that she needs, which is the future. She's very aware all these current reactions have definitely ignited like this catalyst that she is going to seek that solution of help. She's been through back-to-back breakups. You know, she had that crazy ass shooting, girl. She's been giving every nook and cranny of her being into her art for like the last 16 years. Give your heart a break like Demi Lovato, girl, please. And also get a solid team of people around you that is going to ensure wellness, and that's not just going to promote this weird ass agenda of cognitive dissonance and delusion, girl, because it's going to end up turning into a train wreck of doom the same way that we witnessed Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, and other folks be going through it, but how Hollywood would glamorize these moments. Even in their death, they were still glamorized, and it is so weird to me. No, no, no. When we have the opportunity to fix it in real time, we need to be on offense, girl, not waiting until something bad happened and then be reactive. No, no, no. I'm hearing that she's back with Ricky, girl. And, you know, if he is a good support system, which I just mentioned that she needs, that's going to help her get back to her journey of health, then so be it. But I do think our girl do need some time alone. If I'm saying, just having a year of just like that solo journey, going on your hikes, taking your oatmeal baths, having some hibiscus tea, honey. It can be just so empowering what you learn about yourself when you can stand on your own and do what it do. And then once you see like the beauty in life based off of you just evoking your you-ness, I know that sounds crazy, but then when you get to dates and you get to experience like these extra joys, they become the cherry on top. They become like when you get the reward token on Super Mario Kart and you hear and you speed past everybody, okay, on Rainbow Road. Like, it just makes life that much better. And I think that's what we got it wrong. Our heavens are within. We create a world of joy, and then it's our job to attract people that are only going to enhance the 100 that you've already set yourself to. But you can't walk into the world at level 10%, broadcast yourself to millions of people, and then hope for the best while the world is draining you completely dry. That ain't gonna work, honey. We got to remember that dating and love is just an extra cherry. It cannot be the foundation or the pillar of your well-being. And that might be like the bittersweet realization that our homegirl needs to get back on track and ultimately just get more good quality music. That's what we want at the end of the day. I want her to be like Mariah, 20, 30 years, having her moments where she's still performing and still relevant and still having a pulse on what the culture needs when it comes to pop and R&B music. So I hope I didn't come too hard on my girl, but I just want to clock that, you know, I think it is okay for us to be a little aware that this is not normal. And I think it's also healthy for us to have discussions with our friends, our family about what's going on. I hope it's not going to revert back to how it was in the mid 2000s, girl, because that's when I was going through my stuff. That was the worst. Sitting there eating 100-calorie Oreos for lunch and Kashi cereal and then going to dance for 4 hours. I was not having no nutrition. You know, it was just crazy times, girl. And I had nobody to talk to about these things. So I'm super happy that we fast forward 22 decades later and, you know, the whole world has open arms about wanting to see people get better. At the end of the day, that's the overall goal for the majority of her fan base and, again, our observers. So let's lean into that and let's root for the best for everybody, wanting the best for themselves. You know what I mean? With that being said, I'm going ahead and move along like I know we do. Make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe, get into this episode, share it with a friend that you know is going to get into it. Maybe an Arianator that you think might be into my voice. I don't know. I hope y'all take heed of what I was talking about and make the most of this remaining bit of our summer, because before we know it's gonna be fall, y'all, which is low-key one of my favorite seasons, but it's gonna come fast. So this has been your girl, Jet Bear, hanging out with y'all on the weekly wind down. You know we always keeping it popping, and we rooting for our girl, Ariana. I'll see y'all next week. Hello.